As it stands right now, I think it's very clear to me. This overhead squatting snatch business is taking way too many points away from me and is basically single-handedly responsible for my struggles on the bench press in the last few weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Had great momentum with bench press, started working with overhead mobility, cocking the wrist back, cocking the shoulders back, all that stuff. And it's really taken a hit. And right now, my wrists feel loose, weak. My shoulders feel weak. All of this stuff was done to accommodate the bar overhead in a overhead squat position. And now all of this looseness, mobility, and I feel quite weak in the bench press. So I think for the foreseeable future, I'm done with overhead squatting. I am done with snatching. In fact, I'm quite annoyed at the fact that the bench press period of my life was cut short because of this. So eventually, you need to make a decision of where you want to go, where you want to take your training. Right now, the bench press is very much so a much more important aspect of my training than overhead squatting is, and snatching is. I always said that I started Ollie lifting not, to become really good at Ollie lifting. I just wanted to use it as a tool to progress the idea of power, output, the idea of, progressing my squats and deadlifts. I love jumping. I progressed jumping into Ollie lifting. Ollie lifting has gotten to a stage now where I'm like, okay, it's great, but now it's impeding the other stuff on the list. And ultimately, if you make a list of all the things that you prioritize in training, for me, obviously the squat is number one, then deadlift and bench press and all that as it goes down along, you need to kind of work out, well, if the fifth thing is impacting the third thing, then the fifth thing is not very good for you, right? Because the third thing is the most important. So I think it becomes one of these situations where you have to balance things out. I would love to Ollie lift, but the trouble with Ollie lifting in general, like the full lifts, mostly the snatch, I guess the full clean and jerk as well is a problem because of the overhead, it's so dominant that it just completely smashes you in the bench press. And this is the trouble with Ollie lifting. It is a great sport. It is great movements. But if you are trying to make Ollie lifting a secondary or a tertiary goal, it's going to be very difficult for you. It is a dominant existence. And if you want to get good at that, everything else will suffer. You can't supplement it. You can't be a supplement to other things. At least that's my experience. My wrists feel weird. They've been aching ever since I started doing the overhead stuff. When you go really wide, grip on the bar to overhead squat, not only is there extension of the wrist, but there's also this like lateral force because, the 45-degree angle on the bar. So the wrists are copping it sweetly. There's multiple different vectors of forces of acting on the wrist, and none of them are going straight down the freaking forearm. They're all kind of like bending you and twisting you out. And, I'm sure over time you get used to that stuff, but that, broken wrist position, you're shooting yourself in the foot when it comes to the bench press, because with the bench press, you want to be stacked. You can't be that way. So I've given it 3 weeks, and it's every time now I put the bar overhead in that position, I feel soreness in the wrist. And it's like, oh my God, man, I had trouble with the freaking elbow. Address that, now I've got trouble with the wrist. It's like, my Lord. And I think it's because I'm trying to do too many damn things at once. Ultimately, the things that I care about the most, squat, bench, deadlift, those are the things that matter to me the most. The power clean I like. The power clean is very beneficial. I will continue to do that because that makes sense and it does not hurt me and only benefits me. But this stuff of pressing the bar overhead and then squatting deep down, that sucks, basically. Clean and jerk, I'll probably get there eventually. But the whole snatching wide, yeah, as it stands right now, you know, I'm blaming the snatch for my struggles on the bench press. And I've been power cleaning all through my good period of benching. So the power cleaning is no problem at all. I'll continue to do that. And I see all the college athletes, all the athletes in strength and conditioning programs, they do it. But rarely do I see people snatch. You know, it's a very, very technical thing. And the rate limiting step is the technicality of it. It's like, dude, I don't want to be an ollie lifter. I want to use it as a tool, but clearly it's behind a technique wall. You know, you got to spend freaking all this time to learn the technique while your actually primary sport is suffering. I don't see the value in that. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, almost forgot, as I always freaking do. Pierre Alexandre Prévost. Hopefully I said your name correctly, man. Probably I butchered it. But Pierre, man, really appreciate the support. You are the next Patreon supporter that popped up this morning when I woke up, and I thought, wow, that's really nice to see. So, like I always say to everyone that joins the Patreon, I greatly appreciate the support. You guys are the wind in my back. You are the community that really, really supports me, goes that extra step. Of course, I appreciate everyone that watches the videos, that comments, and interacts with this journey of mine. But the guys that step on Patreon, you know, you guys have gone the extra mile in supporting me. You're not just sitting on the sidelines supporting me through, you know, through watching the journey, but you actually, you know, pushing me in the back, you know, pushing me in the back and pushing me forward. So I appreciate all support. I appreciate everyone, even the people that disagree with me. You know, I like to get challenged in my thoughts. I like the discussion. I like all of that. And I'm pretty sure some of the people on Patreon, you know, we've gone back and forth with different ideas and we've discussed. So we don't all agree on Patreon, which is I genuinely, you know, appreciate that. I don't want yes men around me. You know, yes men are no value at all. So Pierre, man, appreciate you, man, and I look forward to you know, conversing, discussing, brainstorming as we go along. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, all of you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.